Hello and welcome to Leica Review. Today we are continuing our exploration into Leica CL camera, and as we know, previous episode we talked about the features, how it was possible to use it in various applications and what it was intended for. In this review we are going to look at using it in the field, and we're going to look at how we can make the most out of this camera. And for that, I would like to begin by talking about the size of that sensor. The APS-C sensor now is packed with 24 megapixels. So that 24.2 megapixels that it has is large enough so that you can crop in and still get incredibly good photographs. There are times when you are, for example, taking photographs in urban spaces that you want to isolate the subject, or you want to bring certain parts of the image into the focus or the focal point for the viewer. So in those instances, having a camera that can capture 24 megapixels is incredibly useful, because you can go down to 18, even to 12 megapixels and still have a usable image that you can use it for printing or for putting online, or even for sometimes into large size prints that can be used as posters or else. So that is the reason why using a camera that is so advanced in terms of these features, and with the fact that it has 50,000 ISO, is going to give you that ability to use it in various applications. The first application that I wanted to use this camera was the urban application, which we call sometimes street photography or reportage. For me, that is very different. For if I'm going out and interviewing somebody or documenting something, then it will be something that I can take this camera and be very unobstructive when I'm taking those photographs, because if you bring a large camera, it's going to attract attention. And if you look at these photographs, which I'm going to show you right now, these are the photographs that can speak for itself. And notice how we are able to get a lot of things into focus, and how it's going to translate into having an image that is very unique, very colorful, very true to its own life feeling. What I mean by that is somebody who looks at it through the eyes of someone who observes this environment, they're going to say that is what the environment looks like. This is the capturing of the colors and the feeling and that three-dimensionality, and that is where Leica cameras excel. So without further ado, let's continue looking at these images, and I'll let you come to your own conclusions about how they Now, the second application I wanted to take this camera into was using it for nature photography or landscape photography, and for that I think it is wonderful, because what it can do is you can take multiple images, stitch them together in the Lightroom or Photoshop to create a larger image, or you can alternatively take photographs and have those photographs blown up to larger sizes to show the details. And the reason this camera excels is because it's able to be paired with Leica lenses, and Leica lenses, as you know, are incredibly well performance. They resolve very well, and for this camera in particular, 18mm is an ideal lens, which when it was introduced, it was paired with an 18mm as a package or a kit. So that is a very good investment if you are looking into getting into Leica photography and getting photographs that resemble the feeling that we have when we look at images that have a truly inspirational feel. For example, if you're photographing large areas where there's large pools of water or trees, you want to be able to see the details in that landscape, and this is what it does, and that's what it creates. So let's look at these images and I'll let you see how this camera performs. And finally, I wanted to examine this camera, using it for photography in terms of portrait photography indoors in studio. What I did is I paired this with Broncolor lights. I used the Cirrus 800s, so we have multiple lights to create this beautiful image. And I tell you, this image, if you look at it from a perspective of seeing it as a professional image, there is nothing that is short of magnificent. The quality is incredible. The quality of the colors is incredible. The image is very three-dimensional, and that is partly because we have used these lights to create this optimum photographic point, and we have used a high aperture, so we are able to create this image in the way that we want to create it. But that again is important to know, that even a small compact camera like this can be used if you need to in professional applications. And that is mostly because we know that the photography comes from the point of shaping light, and if you can shape the light, this is what it will give you. And let's look at these images. hope you have seen how much contrast, how much detail, how much beauty that can be created by using this camera. And I tell you, if you are to use this camera efficiently, it should be a camera that you can use for many years without having to worry about, should I need to upgrade, because 24 megapixels is more than sufficient to create large prints. It's sufficient to do all kinds of photography. It is not a camera that most clients will see it as a camera that is professional. For that purpose, I would say if you are going to photograph it knowing that this can be something of a prejudice that people might have. What is important is what you create with that camera. I'll give you a good example. I took this camera and I took some photographs for a concert, and these concert photographs were incredible. So that is what I'm going to show you as well, so you can make a judgment on that and see how these colors are going to give you that feeling of how the environment was, what the spirit was, and it can tell a story. So let's look at those images right now. I hope you have enjoyed this bonus segment which I wanted to show you, and I hope that you can make an informative decision on whether you should get this camera or not. Personally, I think it's very compact and very useful camera to carry around, even on circumstances where you are just going about your daily activity, and be able to create the images to your liking. And I hope that we can join me in my next review as we look into more Leica cameras. I thank you for watching.